Welcome to the Fantasy Source Baseball Podcast. My name is David A. Arnott, sitting here with Bill Bender. And you know what? While it is March Madness right now, we're still thinking about our drafts. We're still thinking about the season that's upcoming. We just held the Sporting News Experts' most recent mock draft yesterday. I believe the write-up is going up tomorrow, so you can see how we all picked in our early and, just as important, our late round picks. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how do you attack those late rounders? A lot of people use those to say, all right, I've already got my starters in place. Now who am I going to take a flyer on to say, you know what, this guy could contribute for me?
Yeah, the late round list too, I think it's one of those deals where everybody's list is a little bit different. Let's be honest, when you get to round 18, 19, some owners get tired, some are half paying attention. You might see them pick in the very last second. So I think it's good to take a list of maybe late round guys that you want late in the draft, and chances are you're going to get 3 or 4 of them if you're smart about it.
So let's break this up a little bit. Let's start with young guys and then old guys, because I think that pretty much guys in the primes of their careers, they're not going to be making it to you there unless there's some sort of injury risk, which would be the third type of sleeper that you got. So let's start with the young guys. Who are the younger players that you would say, you know what, if he's available in that 19th, 20th, 21st round, you know, and I have nobody else that really jumps out at me, who do you say is at the top of your list in that instance?
Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about a guy that not a lot of people are talking about in Houston's Chris Johnson. He's the guy I was able to get yesterday, and maybe it's me or maybe it's something that I'm missing, but he's ranked pretty low on some draft boards. But if you look at his stats from last year, he hit 308 with 11 homers, 52 RBIs in 94 games, and he's hitting well in spring training. He's come up through the system as a good prospect, and I think he adds depth at a position where maybe if you take a chance and wait on a guy at third base like a Pedro Alvarez or Mark Reynolds, you can get a guy like Chris Johnson later as maybe an insurance. He's a nice flyer.
What do you think his absolute ceiling is this year?
Well, if he can continue to hit in that 280, 290 range, that would be a bonus. And if he gets to 20 home runs, 70 RBIs, that I think you get more than what you pay for. He doesn't run a lot, but like I said, he's a guy that I talked to Matt Latufsky about a little bit. We both like him a little bit, and we're kind of surprised that not a lot of owners are keying in on him.
So he's kind of like, if I hear you correctly, he's kind of like a Neil Walker type, but you get him for the whole season.
Exactly. And I think he's a good flyer. And then on the pitching side of things, it might be because I spent some time working in Newark, Ohio, and saw this kid pitch in high school, but I really like Derek Holland. I like his K rate. He had some control problems last year. He's one of those young pitchers that if you can get him in round 18 or 19, I see nothing wrong with it.
Well, what about the older guys? I see a guy there that you have listed at the top of your list as a guy that I managed to grab in the mock draft, Chipper Jones.
Yeah, Chipper Jones, you know he's going to get injured.
Yeah, penciling him in for more than 130 games is absolute folly at this point. But you know what? It doesn't really matter to me because I say those are 130 games that he's going to hit exceptionally well. And if I get, say, Neil Walker to play the other 32 games on my innings or my games list, then I'll be having a pretty good third baseman.
Well, you know, and third base isn't the deepest position. So if you want to take Chipper Jones, you could double up with Chris Johnson. Those are two guys, you know, maybe if Chipper goes down, then you use the young guy. But Chipper Jones, there's a guy, he's always been good. He's always been able to hit. He's going to be able to hit the ball until he's 45. He just might not be able to stay healthy at that point. He's hitting 375 with a couple of homers in spring training, and owners know what they're getting into when they make that investment.
And a guy that kind of, on the pitching side, I should say, a guy that kind of bridges that old guy coming back from injury sleeper, Eric Bedard.
Oh, absolutely. Again, you know what you're getting into. He's synonymous with back problems. Owners know he's going to get hurt. But at the same time, we get teased a little bit each spring, and he's teasing us once again. He's pitching, and he pitches in a pitcher's park in Seattle. So I've always liked Eric Bedard when he's on the mound. It's just how long can you keep him on the mound with all those disabled list stints. But if it's round 20, round 21, why not?
I mean, he's one of those guys that, to me, managers, especially the more experienced fantasy managers, will still draft Justin Ducher. They will still draft maybe not Rich Harden anymore, but he's taken up that mantle where it's, you know what, like maybe he's a guy that sneaks to the bat there and everyone forgets about him, and who knows? We don't know. He might go all Carl Pavano on us and actually be a really good pitcher for another couple of years without any real issue.
Well, I think he's getting half the attention of a guy like Jake Peavy, who owners are all of a sudden really high on because we've seen him pitch a little bit, but Bedard and Peavy, when you put it all together, they're not that much different. So you're getting Bedard a lot cheaper, whereas Peavy, Hitters Park, Chicago, also hasn't stayed healthy for 2 or 3 years.
And he didn't pitch that well when he was healthy and went to the White Sox.
Exactly. So you got to spot the value there. And, like I said, Bedard is a guy. I took him in round 22 in a draft with some friends, and everybody said, great pick. I had him on my list. Well, you should have took him a little sooner.
As for the position players in that injury group of guys, one guy I really love, Derek Lee, going to Baltimore, right-handed hitter. Granted, it's the American League, so he's going to be facing some better pitchers, but I love him as a bounce-back candidate especially in those late rounds.
Oh, yeah, Derek Lee, he falls under that, Chipper Jones type category, Bobby Abreu, guys that owners are just kind of, Lance Berkman's another one, that owners are just kind of passing off because they've been there, done that, they know these guys are on the decline. But when you get them at around 18, 17 through 19 type price, it's not bad value because you know what you're going to get. And these guys have produced in the past, and they can produce from the bench.
And I guess the end result would be, what I'm gathering from all this, is, if the guy doesn't work out, he was a 19th round pick, he's not your core to begin with, go ahead and feel free to drop him if you think you see somebody that's breaking out.
Well, I always tell owners, look at your draft in maybe June, and then look at it again in August, and see how many guys are still on your roster. Chances are rounds 1 through 12 you'll do okay. 9, 10, 11 guys are still on your team. But when you get past round 12, there's so much roster turnaround. Don't be surprised if those guys don't pan out. And again, it's not a big deal because the draft is only half the battle.
All right, Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.